Greetings and salutations, Dota fans. Welcome into the Stream 24 NVIDIA Invitational. $15,000 on the line. Tinker taking on Alliance in the first best of 5 to lead off the festivities. An absolute pleasure to be back on the mic with you, and a hell of a lot of fun to be back casting Dota in a post-TI world. First time I've had a chance to jump on the mic since TI4. And joining me, the guy I was last on the mic with, or I guess before TI4, his name's Trouf. Trouf, brother, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. It's good to be back. It's good to be casting some games once again with you, so thanks for having me.
Absolutely my pleasure. This tournament, pitting just 4 teams, it's only going to be single elimination, so it's win or go home for all of these squads, really. $15,000 on the line, all as a part of NVIDIA's Game24 celebration. The celebration of PC gaming with all kinds of happenings, all kinds of streamers, all kinds of stuff going on the world over. So I know Dota's your main draw here, but while we have downtime, whenever that downtime happens to be, I really encourage you to check out the rest of what's going on. A lot of really awesome stuff happening for fans of online streaming. Let's take a look at the draft as it stands here for game 1 of what will be, again, a best of 5, the first best of 5 to lead off this tournament. We got Razor and Bad Rider picked up quick by Tinker, and it's going to be Nature's Prophet and Skywrath picked up by Alliance.
Yep, some interesting stuff coming out right off the gates. Razor and Bat Rider are both in conjunction. We've seen Bat Rider go through so many phases in the metagame where he's picked up all the time, and then there's like a 2 to 3 to sometimes even 4 month just null period where people just don't pick him anymore, and then people all suddenly realize, wait a second, this hero is good from start to finish. I can get a free pick off whenever I want with proper vision, especially in daytime with a Firefly. So fantastic pickup there. And then Nature's Prophet, I think this hero is, in my personal opinion, I'd rate him top 5 in the game. I think just his map control and honestly on both sides, just because Radiant, it's easy to push. On Dire, it's easy to abuse Roshan. And this is obviously one of Admiral Bulldog's key heroes, and he plays it fantastically.
Oh yeah, absolutely couldn't agree with you more. Like you said, it's, I mean, that and the IO, really. I mean, IO, kind of a hero that's, I mean, it's, IO never really fell off, but he did, if that makes any sense, you know what I mean? Like, he never became a hero that no one wanted to even fool with or anything ridiculous like that, but he definitely has seen his popularity wax and wane, and we can see here, making his way on into this second phase. And nothing paired up with it as of right now anyway. Tinker, in the meantime, does have a nice little mix of heroes. They got the Initiation of the Bat, they've got good, strong supports in the Earthshaker, and the Razor, of course, very strong. And it looks like Alliance going to go ahead and grab up the Tidehunter. So now when you look at this lineup, if you got 2 very clear supports, or at least one would imagine, the Skywrath and the IO. Nature's Prophet and Tide, though, very often both want an off lane or a solo lane. So we'll see how Alliance decides to end up laning this out.
And Tidehunter's been popular in the metagame for quite some time now, and for good reason. Ever since they especially buffed his Anchor Smash, he's just been picked up, and he's just, if you get that refresher on him with the Blink, it's really hard to fight him in a 5v5 situation. And it's not the longest cooldown either. It comes up relatively fast, so interested to see how Alliance lanes him here. Earthshaker, I think that when you draft Wisp, is to kind of touch on your point, is there's actually a lot of counters to the Wisp, not like specifically the relocate. I think Wisp is more picked up for the ability to save somebody and regen someone up with the overcharge and bottle or earn whatever you want. But I think it's kind of like the same idea of almost like Enigma. Like you think it's like this big ultimate, and that's what you see and that's what you remember. But that's not always necessarily the reason why the hero is picked. And I would venture to say that that's kind of the same thing for Wisp, is the ability to heal someone constantly and keep them alive. And then with an added bonus to be able to TP around and create pressure, but still be able to farm at the same time. I think that's why the reason why IO is picked. Not necessarily we can go gank a lot with relocate and catch them off guard, because as I was saying in the beginning of this little rant here, is that there's so many heroes that like, oh, I can see the relocate coming. I'm gonna set up with my Razor, pop a BKB, and just fight you. Or I'm gonna set up with a long range Fisher and screw up your positioning. It's very easy to do that. So that's why Earthshaker is good. But we'll have to see how they really play Wisp. If they play it more of that, you know, I'm gonna buff up my carry rather than I'm gonna go ganking.
Yeah, I'm curious as well. I mean, they're certainly going to have a lot of global presence between the Prophet and the IO. So speaking of ganking, Tinker's actually going to have a pretty strong team in that regard as well. They're going to have a fair amount of damage they can output in a hurry, just between a hit fissure And a quick brain sap, something like that. Of course, Bad Rider, once he gets a blink of Force Staff, very mobile. Razor tends to want to fight sooner rather than later as well. So a lot of aggression there. But yeah, like coming back to what you said about the IO, still looking for a partner for him. Usually the most popular ones you'll see are going to be your CK, your Tiny, and for good reason they work that way. CK, though, kind of has fallen off for quite some time, really. I mean, let's be honest. It's been since TI3 since we really saw that hero enjoy any real level of popularity, and for good reason. He's really kind of at a weak state in terms of the current meta and the way the lanes tend to go, the way the way the game tends to shift in terms of mid-game fights and so on. So we'll see if they want to grab up something like a Tiny very quickly, or if they're going to do something a little unorthodox and go more along the route you're talking. Just use him as general utility instead of trying to put together this kind of predictable combo package.
Yeah, CK, if there was a team to still pick up CK with the Wisp, it is Alliance. I still see them do it from time to time. I guess the main reason why it wasn't really that CK got worse, it was that the Wisp got worse, because it was such a good combination with the CK, because you can get an instant stun, but when they changed the stun to a slow, it wasn't nearly as effective. So, I mean, he still can be used and still can be effective, as Alliance has shown some games. But, yeah, more common pairings there. I've seen them do Sven a lot. I don't think Sven's the best against the Bane in particular, especially the Batrider, because with the BKB, both of these heroes can shut him down. So Sven would not be my guess, but I have seen Alliance run Sven. That's the only reason why I throw that idea out here. Naga Siren is the last ban out here for, or against Alliance, I should say, and that would be a lot of split push if they did pick up the Naga, so don't want to have to deal with that.
Well, yeah, and, it's, just as kind of a digression, as a digression, while we wait on the last picks to come out. How do you feel about Sven? I've been seeing a lot of chatter across multiple different places about teams and how they feel about the hero, even potentially in mid. I want to say he was running mid recently, right?
I think S4 runs him in mid.
Yeah.
If I can toot my own little horn here, I had a couple conversations with Peter, actually, after some NEL games where I was suggesting to him, because DP is picked up in every frickin' NEL game. As we see here, it's banned out in the first two. And it's... I thought, like, Sven was pretty good because you can... The Warcry is insane. Like, it gives you, I think, 16 armor in a 900 AoE. It's not even a small AoE. I think people think it's small, but it's actually 900. So it's pretty frickin' wide. And it's 16 frickin' armor. And it's pretty good against the Ghosts. And I think Sven is... As long as you build him as more of a... like an explosive fighter, rather than I'm going to go AFK farm. Because if you're going to go AFK farm, why pick Sven? I would pick a different... I would personally pick a different... I mean, he can do it. But when you have counters like Bane and Batrider, or heroes that go through a BKB, I don't think he's that effective. So I would pick him as a fighter. But here, it looks like Alliance are going to go with a Luna, which I think is a little bit more appropriate, seeing how Alliance is up against Bane and Batrider.
Well, yeah, Luna's always a solid pick. Luna can work with an IO just fine. You can actually gank with her very effectively. Old school Cloud9 used to do that pretty commonly from time to time. The Tine Hunter obviously is a decent target for the relocate as well. Wow, we're going to see a Troll Warlord picked up by Tinker. Now, Troll's one of those heroes that for a very brief moment in time saw a lot of professional play, and then it's like everyone collectively figured out that he's not all that awesome of a hero. So, I mean, depending on who you talk to, and you certainly know this more than I do, you talk to and play with players at a professional level, being a professional caliber player yourself. But, I mean, everyone talks about his potential, but it just doesn't seem like we see it come to fruition very often.
Yeah, I've talked with EG a lot, and I know that Fear is really a big fan of Troll. I believe he builds, like, mech on him sometimes. And I know I've talked with other players that are fans of Troll. Like, I know Fata, for example, from Cloud9 now likes Troll a lot, but... Personally, I don't like the hero. I don't think he offers very much. That's my personal opinion. That's not to say he can't do well in games. Obviously, every hero can do well, but I just think he doesn't. I think they're like picking the hero off of for one reason only, and that's the ult. And if you don't have anything to pair it with it, which I don't think Team Tinker really has anything. There's nothing to pair with the ult, honestly. It's just himself. And they also don't have a good Roshan fighting team either. And that's why I would personally pick a Troll, is just to have something to synergize with the ult, like a Void. Like if you picked Void jumps in with a Chrono, pop the Troll ulti, and bam, he has tons of attack speed in it, and he can proc some more bashes. But they have nothing here. So, and aside from that, he's just like a hero that you're hoping bashes. Like I feel like if you're picking a hero based on some RNG just for like a small minor bash, it's not worth it. I kind of compare them in my mind to like PA, except the difference is PA has other utility abilities that are better. Not to mention her RNG compared to a small bash. It's like Troll will bash you. Okay, well PA will just freaking kill you in one shot. Which would you take? So I'm just not a fan of Troll. I'm not on that bandwagon.
Well, just to build on what you're saying, and it is going to be Sing Sing, by the way, who is playing on this, as our lovely players did not change their name for this game, but hopefully we'll get them to change that looking ahead. That's going to be Loda playing on our Tidehunter, who is actually surrounded by a lot of unfortunate faces. Pycat taking a look, and he's got boots first. They're going to try to pursue him out. There's a Nightmare coming out from Bulba. Bulba playing on the Bane, and that's going to be a lot of damage siphoned off. Pycat, even after the Anchor Smash, is going to be hitting very hard and with boots, as well as the Fissure if they need it. This should be your first blood. There you go. Well placed, and down goes Loda. So Loda on that farming Tide, sitting down in that solo safe, caught napping in his own jungle, pays the price.
Yep, caught out there with a sleep, and not a bad combo with the Static Link as well. You can get up a significant amount of damage before you actually start attacking. So, and then some more action actually onto Dream here. This is Koikfa setting up with the concussive shot as Misery, and that's an easy kill there, so nice response.
Good rotation and movement early as Misery, with that double damage room, secures himself and his team. Return kill. Now we're going to see more rotations as the Earthshaker's coming up. That's going to be spotted by Misery, pops the Clarity. Almost full health, but even with Bane behind him, I don't think he's going to waste the mana, Just going to let the Skywrath fly elsewhere. So, as of right now, we've got Tidehunter isolated against Pycat on the Razor. This mid matchup, certainly going to be a lot of rotations in both directions. But for now, it looks like Alliance is going to try to set up in a pure O try.
Yeah, and Luna's actually one of the better contenders to go offensive tri-lane just because her damage is so high, and she provides damage to her allies as well. And not to mention when you have the tether from Wisp, and if you get boots on Luna, she's frickin' fast. So even though she doesn't have the most HP, she's very mobile and has lots of damage. So not the worst in an offensive tri-lane. The only thing I fear for offensive tri-lanes is that I feel like you have to push that tower early. Otherwise, if you get bullied around, or if one person gets caught out, then the tri-lane's kind of lost, and then you have nowhere to go. So maybe they can look to get a couple kills and then transfer that into a tower push. They do have a Fury on in mid, which can help with that. So we'll have to see if Bulldog is up for the challenge.
Yeah, this is actually, I think Bulldog's going to do okay here. We can already see he's sitting at 8 CS apiece with that Bad Rider. Bad is miserable to deal with, but Bulldog, he's going to be able to keep himself safe. He can go back to Fountain pretty easily if he needs to, if he's really in trouble, and then come back at a pretty good clip. We're going to see a little bit of aggression now. There's going to be a Fissure that catches too. However, Misery right there to fall with a concussive shot. Nightmare onto Luna. Here comes Bulldog. Sing Sing's there, but it's not going to matter as they manage to secure another kill. And just look at how quickly even the Troll is melting with that poor man's shield. Loses a lot of health very quickly. And the lane certainly going the way of Alliance thus far. Can't help but feel like Tinker needs to make some kind of an adjustment, as this Troll really just is not feeling super effective. I mean, this stage of the game, he's usually not going to. As you said, at 6 is where he starts to come into his own. But even so, you can't just get bullied around and lose laning phase this badly.
He's chasing a Luna right now, but Luna's just so freaking fast that the slow from those axes don't really do much. And yeah, he does have actually not the worst laning presence because his damage is high. I mean, when he goes to melee for him, he's hitting for 75, which is a lot. It's like on par with Void. And he does have the miss percentage chance, the 60% if the whirling axis hits you, which is all nice. It's just like pretty much out of the laning phase, I feel like, is where I have problems with him. I just don't think he does enough. But they do have good heroes up here as a defensive tri-lane with the Bane and Earthshaker. They're doing some pulling, so again, it is a defensive tri-lane, but when you have, like I said, rotations from the Furion, this is why Furion's so good in a solo role, whether it's in mid or whether he is in the safe lane. It's very easy to help out your team. It's similar to like if you have like a Zeus mid. If you have an offensive tri-lane, it kind of forces the other team to fight, so it means that all the heroes are low leveled. Well, once you get those global spells, in this case, Prophet has it like right away. But if it's a Zeus, you hit level 6, you just use that ulti, and it becomes instantly easier to fight a 3-on-3 engagement. So
oh, yeah.
I like this draft in these lanes coming out from Alliance.
Well, not even just the fight. I mean, there's a Nightmare onto a Treant from Bulba that allows Koikfa to snag up that rune. So well played there from Bulbous Bane. In the meantime, at bottom, we can see Tide is getting bullied around quite a bit. That Razor tops the CS board at 23 for himself. Tide is middle of the pack, sitting at 12, but Luna's really begun to open up a gap now on that troll, up to 17 towards Sing Sing's 11. So this is only going to get more and more aggressive, too, is the problem I think I have. As you said, whenever... Oh, hang on. Pycat is diving Loda all the way back to his tier 2, and they're going to be able to get him, yeah. Gets him with the plasma field, however, he's going to give his body for it. You think that's worth it at all?
No, not really. Especially when you give double proximity gold to the Skywrath and the Furion, and porting for kills like that. And there you go, level 6 onto the Furion.
Yep, just blown up, and now Sing Sing next on the list. But they'll be able to dive this easily unless Bane can get a Nightmare off. He does. Bane just level 3. Actually, Brain saps Io and gets a kill for himself. Now here comes Sing Sing back out, trying to show a little bit of aggression. Courier's still walking around at 5 minutes, worth mentioning. So it doesn't just happen in your pub games, happens in pro games too. Now finally upgraded. But at any rate, 4-3. A lot of activity. 7 kills tallied in 5 minutes across the board. But Prophet, as you said, now level 6. That really is a confounding factor whenever you're put under tri-lane pressure like this. If they're all on screen at once and the ultimates are ready, as they will be before long on Luna, who's just about to hit level 5, you can be dove and just mauled at any given point following a Nature's Wrath.
Yep, you really can. This like these global abilities with offensive tri-lanes. Oh, hold that thought. As Troll Warlord's actually in trouble. Furion cancels his TB, doesn't even need to. It's just these global abilities with offensive tri-lanes are so effective. Like things like Prophet. Like I mentioned, Prophet's so good because he can TP at level 2. I mean, normally you don't get TP at level 1. Actually, in this case, he did to ward up early, but normally, yeah, if you get any kind of global presence in a try-v-try situation, like the Furion or a Zeus or a Spectre, it just becomes so easy to actually fight engagements early on. And they've already done that. And as I mentioned, with that kill where Razor was diving, that got level 6 for Furion. Hit 6, immediately hit the ulti, and was able to contribute right away. So, yeah, this global... this is why I'm such a fan of Furion in general.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm on board, man. And especially whenever you can put him in situations like this. Like, everyone knows, yes, he can jungle, yes, he can offlane. Up, hang on. Sing Sing, engaged upon again. He's silenced. There's going to be a well-placed fissure, though, that blocks that off. Doesn't matter. Look at the damage output from Just Nature's Wrath. And we might see, is he thinking about coming? I was going to say, he might think about it, but with an Earthshaker there, even though he has no mana to do anything, hasn't even skilled Enchant Totem yet, they're going to be able to zone them off this tower completely. And yeah, now here he comes. He's going to be spotted right on top of that troll. There's another fissure that kind of broke up the pursuit party. Chessie right there with him. There's going to be a Nightmare on to Admiral Bulldog. Bane trying to run interference as best he can. Chessie, ooh! Chessie was trying to loosen Bane. Behind that, though, we see Quakefish join the fight. Manages to get eyes on Misery. Lassos him back. In the meantime, Key hooked up with Chessie. Key's going to end up dying to the Razor. Behind that, Quakefa. Will he get one more? No, Loda right there. No, they do manage to get him, and a very nice Ravage. Let's see if that'll be enough to get him away. He got all 3 of them, but it wasn't soon enough to save his teammates. And Bulldog just kicking it, hanging out, ready to provide some right click, and looks like the Ravage will be semi-well spent, at least keeping himself alive.
Yeah, they're diving pretty far back there, and they don't have any real stuns other than the Ravage, but that was cast way further away. So kind of unfortunate timings there, but like I said, just diving really far. And this is why I think just killing this tier 1 tower when you're going aggressive is so important early on. I really feel like they have to get this tower down ASAP. It's very important when you do try-v-tries. Like I mentioned, if you don't get the down and you get bullied or you lose some engagements, you're just kind of forced to leave because naturally the safe lane is, for that word, it's safer. It's you have your own poles to work with. It's on your side of the map. And you can get kicked out, and if you don't get that tower, then you go back and you're getting out leveled. You're wasting time. So I really feel like you get that tower if you're going aggressive, and it opens up the map for you, and it puts the opposite team in an ability to, or in a defensive posture where they can't farm as fast.
Speaking of farming, Troll has gone to work down at bottom, trying to play a little bit of catch-up. He's a 28 CS. He's about middle of the pack, upper middle of the pack, I guess you could say. The Razor, though, taking a look at his inventory, he's skipping mech, at least for the moment. Instead going phase and drums. His drums are done, so it isn't as if he's completely underfarmed. I just worry that they may end up regretting not having a mechanism sooner rather than later, as Alliance is going to be able to take the fight to them pretty easily. I mean, the damage output of Troll, such as it is just not going to be there anytime soon. He's only level 7 right now. He's roughly on par with that, with the Tidehunter, which is nice, of course, with Furion really getting his stride going. Chessie now at level 6 with the clips to draw upon. They're going to be able to really take the fight to TT.
Yeah, I would actually say experience-wise, Team Tinker is doing quite well. He is actually almost 2 levels higher than...
Fissure there's the ulti. And the lasso. Onto Furion. Can they clean him up? They knock him onto the other side of the fissure. Still running it. There's a big ulti coming out from Misery as he manages to blow that Razor up. And worst of all, Prophet got away through all of it. He was so low, and the flame break actually knocked him onto the other side of the fissure, made it difficult to pursue, and he manages to survive because of it. If they can keep knocking this Razor down, now he's up to 2 deaths. The one he fed near the tier 2 Abon. If they can kill him a couple more times and just keep him off the board, they're going to be in great shape.
Yeah, and he just bought his phase and his drums. He was feeling pretty invulnerable. But when you have a full Mystic Flare hit you plus an Eclipse, it doesn't matter how tanky you are at this stage of the game, you're going to die. And that's what happened. And in that meantime, too, Tide was able to get some good farm bottom. He's got his arcane boots, and he had a terrible time just because of the lane and got first blooded, but has recovered somewhat nicely.
Quakeva in the middle of some really mean... Wow, that's going to be a Fiend's Grip out of Bulba, but a lot of people are coming. There's going to be a Ravage that misses Bulba, but did manage to catch Sing Sing. He's going to be blown up with a Lucent Beam. Now Pycat coming back in to fight. His damage, even though he's gaining it... Oh, another beautiful Mystic Flare as Misery proving to just be the bane of the existence of that poor Razor. Pycat dies twice in just about as many minutes. That was an odd engagement beginning to end. We saw Bulba just kind of blindly grip with an entire team basically flowing to that spot on the map. Not only did they lose the Razor and their Troll Warlord, they're now going to lose the tier 1 bottom.
Yeah, an interesting place to go, and you have to always think that whenever you're fighting, it always has to be, you're fighting that hero potentially +1, because Furion can port at any given time. And they didn't exactly have all the best vision in the world. Like, they have this ward down here, but it doesn't show above, it doesn't show TPs coming from the tower, and it kind of just went all out on a limb. That happened when Batrider's Lasso was on cooldown. I think that they need to be initiating more with the Bat Lasso than anything else, at least in this stage of the game. So, very nicely done. They also might have thought that the Ravage was still on cooldown, but it was up and ready to go, and Loda responds nicely.
See Pycat with the help of EGM playing on our Earthshaker, taking these stacks, so getting a nice little amount of golden experience for the both of them, all things considered. But Alliance definitely in the driver's seat, and Bulldogs opted to go mech right after Null Talisman and Treads. So they're going to have the mechanism ready for the fight. Meanwhile, I don't even see one started on Tinker. Are they even going to build one? I don't think they are.
I mean, usually Razors in the mid lane buy it, but it doesn't look like he's going for it. And if he is, it's going to be very late. Like I mentioned, I've seen Fear play Troll a lot, and he goes mech on Troll, but I don't know. I don't think he's going... Yeah, it looks like he's going to go for Vlad's instead, which is fine. But yeah, it doesn't look like they're going to get a mech this game, at least right now.
Up smoke, and very quick blink will help get Quakeva out of trouble. That's actually pretty good for them. Popping the smoke there with the bat and guaranteeing that no one else was going to be picked off by Alliance. In the meantime, though, Bulldog is just continuing to farm up.
Yep, and having the mech... I don't normally see him go for this build, but I think if you can get it and you have the mana to sustain it, it's fine. And he has the tread, so... I would say if you're like going for phase boots, it's not as ideal because you need that extra mana. Although he does have a Null Talisman. This is a little bit different than we've been seeing this trend of Furions going for this treads plus like 3 Null Talisman and the Blade Mail. Gotta say, not the biggest fan, but hey, it does work sometimes.
Works well against Tinkers, right? Like, I'm pretty sure that's the mindset, is against that hero in particular, it helps.
I've seen it against everything, man.
Oh,
like, every freaking hero. I think the best way to play Furion is just, like, evaluate what you're going up against, see how the game is going, and then plan accordingly. Like, you know, we know Bulldog likes the Maelstrom to blink build.
Oh, hang on. Okay. Relocate coming in. And that's key. Brought Chessie. Let's see. Nope. Just going to take the tower. This is going to be another free tower. And the gold gain of Alliance is going to begin to feel... Tinker's going to be feeling it, I'll put it that way. They're starting to fall behind considerably, and Bulldog is not far at all from finishing off a Maelstrom, so his damage output, as well as his ability to split push, is actually going to be pretty monstrous soon.
Yeah, I wonder if it could be Maelstrom. I wonder if it's also going to be Midas, just because he's farming so well and he already has a team fighting item. So, yep, actually it is going to be the Midas.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So,
little late, but whatever.
It is late, but the cool thing about it is, like, he's already got his core items, so if he is farming at a good speed, it's going to pay for itself.
Right.
It's not like, oh no, I bought my Midas, but I can't fight. Like, he has a team fighting item already, so it's not that bad, and I'm always a fan of Midas, so...
Oh, yeah, well, and, I mean, just look at the lineups. Alliance is going to be quite comfortable just holding serve and going late if they need to. I mean, they're not going to be super terrified of a Troll Warlord at 50 minutes in, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, and Troll... One of the prerequisites of this hero is, I feel like you have to get BKB. Like, he has to. If he doesn't, he's going to have so many ways to either slow him, kite him. Honestly, one Sprout will keep him in place for, what, 4.5 seconds at level 4? What is it? Something ridiculously long. 5.25 seconds. And you can't have your hero get countered that way. Hell, even if he has a BKB, he can still get Sprouted. So there's just so many ways to kite him or keep him in place. But I don't know, maybe they can abuse Roshan, but again, this goes back to the fact that they don't even have a... Oh, hold that thought, as Troll Warlord, it is in some trouble.
Ooh. Dodges the Mystic Flare, not going to matter, though, as they've got more than enough health and more than enough firepower to make him pay. Rotation was there, but just an inch too late, as the Fissure, not enough to save their buddy. And let's see if they want to push, and why wouldn't they? I mean, the Io went back by himself. He's down at bottom. It won't take him much time, especially with the haste, if he manages to spot that, to run back up. Chessie has gone with the Helm of the Dominator. He's got 1,500 gold tucked away. We'll see where he wants to head after that, if he's thinking of BKB or maybe something a little bit more offensive. But for now, pecking away at the tower.
Yep, and they have Ravage to go. Does he have a blink yet? He does have a blink. So
finish it.
Despite his very bad lane assignment with 1v1 of Razor and then the first blood, Loda has bounced back nicely, and you have to attribute that to the towers that they have down now. But with this Blink Ravage ready to go, yeah, they could definitely take a fight.
Quakefoot takes to the skies using the Firefly Flame Trail to buy some time. Treants don't care. Neither does Chessie as he walks up. There's going to be a Fissure that catches two, hits the Treants as well. Alliance staying very well positioned, just waiting for an opportunity to engage. Again, that Blink, I'm sure by now Tinker's seen it, so they're going to be aware of it. This is going to be a DD, though, that Chessie should be taking. And we'll see if they want to continue to try to pour the final. Nope, just going to give it to Misery.
Huh. Yeah, you know, it's kind of, you can't even tell that he's holding it. He glows a little bit, but you know, there's some heroes that hold the DD that you absolutely can't tell. Like, I feel like Wisp is one of them.
Yep. You can't tell any rune on Wisp, man. Like, Invis,
yeah.
I never know if a Wisp is Invis. I never know.
I feel like DD you literally just can't even tell. There's another hero, too, that I can't think of that picks up a DD, and I have no idea they have a DD. It fails me right now, but I'll remember it eventually.
Well, for the moment, you got a minute or two to think about it because both teams seem content to go back and just continue farming for a little while. Speaking of farm, how about we check our net worth as we cross 17 minutes in. No surprise to see the Nature's Prophet up. Hang on, never mind. Loda was engaged by Pycap, but neither of them wanting to spoil for a fight. But yeah, Prophet sitting at 7,500. Right behind him is Chessie on the Luna, 6,800. Then it's in the Razor after that. Looking ahead to the next 10 minutes or so, Trout, we're coming up on 20, you know, getting solidly into the mid-game. Give me a couple of key points that you think will be necessary for each of these teams' game plan moving forward.
Well, for Team Tinker, they have the ability to pick people off because they have a bat that's very farmed. He's got Blink and Force Staff, so I would say for them, they go for pickoffs. Get some smokes, get one or two heroes sitting behind bat while Troll is farming. You don't need everybody to get some ganks with this lineup. That's one of the few good things about Team Tinker's lineup is they can gank without a lot of numbers. They can do it with bat +1 probably, even if they wanted to, while the other two are farming. They can also maybe try to do Roshan. Their lineup is pretty terrible for Roshan, but they do have a Troll ulti. So if they push out lanes, they could do that. But I would say just have two support heroes sit behind, maybe even just one sit behind the bat and look for ganks.
Speaking of looking for ganks, Loda hanging out in the trees here. Had a target in lane that was Pycat, but looks like he's going to pull on back, so a little bit more extended downtime. We've yet to take a look at our graph, so how about we do that? 5K lead right now for Alliance, and really no shock whenever you look at the towers. As of yet, Tinker has not taken a single tower, not a one.
Yep. It's almost kind of hard to with the defensive power of a Ravage, a Blink Ravage. Oh, here we go. Some action possibly as Furion TPs in aggressively.
Yep, and we can see Quakeful will make it to the low ground. There's going to be a Sprout that catches Sing Sing. Let's see if they've got the damage. They damn well do. Nature's Wrath helps. Bane using the Nightmare to try to buy time. All it does is set up the magic missile to clean things up.
Almost kind of killed him. Oh, here we go. Aggressive Blink here from Loda.
Going on the Bane. Bane caught, hit with the Anchor Smash. Brain Sap. Oh, Mystic Flare, not quite enough, but that will be. Oh, wow. Survives with 24 HP. In the meantime, Misery caught by the lasso, but there's going to be the Ravage. Only got one, but it got the one they wanted. The Razor and Pycat takes a spill as well. And it seems like in every one of these fights, even if Alliance isn't 5-wiping them, they're getting the heroes they need to get, and they may be able to get a Roshan right now if they care to. And I just heard an Echo Slam somewhere. Was that? Yeah, it looks like the Earthshaker opting to use Echo Slam in order to farm.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he just used it to farm in mid.
Well, okay. All right. I didn't hear that, but I'll take your word for it. Yeah, and it's on cooldown.
Yep.
Okay. Very strange. Yeah, I actually think that the Ravage barely clipped the Batrider as well.
Oh, did it get him? I
think it got him in the background. It was a really nice Blink Ravage forward there by Loda. So it was able to save Misery just by the skin of his teeth and able to get on out. And I really like the Wisp combination with Luna, actually. With a hero that's already so fast, just making her that much more fast and being able to... she's actually still kind of squishy, but if you can save her with by mitigating some damage with the overcharge and then increasing her speed to... one of the hard things about Luna sometimes is, there is a little bit of cast time for your ult, right? So you want to use that but have movement speed to run up there if you don't have anything set up for you, and the Link extra movement speed can help you with that. And yeah, very, very nicely played by Alliance, getting lots of towers, lots of objectives. And again, I have to go back to Loda's performance. This game has been quite nice. Just having that horrible start and then having to go solo against a frickin' Razor, who's one of the best solos in the game, as a melee hero. He's recovered nicely. But again, you have to attribute that to the tower. So, Quakeva's in some trouble.
Quakeva's spotted out. He does have a haste rune, so he should be able to make it away. Unless they want to blind relocate. Doesn't look like that's the plan at all. And something that I probably should have made clear is Alliance is playing down a man in this series. Key, even though it would seem intuitive, is not Ake. That is a stand-in named Key. So even though they bear a passing verbal similarity in the names, it is a stand-in. So to tell you the truth, seeing him play this well as a stand-in on the IO is pretty impressive.
Yeah, he clearly knows what he's doing, and Wisp obviously is not an easy hero to play. When I first started playing Dota, and when I played Dota 1, this hero wasn't in the game, so I didn't have any experience when I came back to Dota 2 playing this hero. And I have to say, it was not easy for me to learn. It took me quite a bit of time to learn this hero effectively, and I'm not even still that great. So, yeah, so he's been playing well so far, to give him that.
Once again, Tinker finds themselves on the defensive, tucked up under their own tier 2. Got 3 with 2 split out wide. As Chessie continues to just farm and farm and farm. Finished a Manta style, and Luna's getting close to a point of critical mass. Also level 12, so has level 2 Eclipse to bring to a fight now at 22 minutes in. And, I mean, it's the easy answer is, well, you just have Backo get a target. But when you have this many ways for fights to change in terms of relocate, in terms of silence, in terms of Mystic Flare, and of course Ravage, that's just such a tall order, even for a good player like Quakeva.
Well, yeah, and the Orchids, immediate Orchids up from Bulldog. He has an Orchids now. Okay.
Yep, that's always
very farmed. As Quakeva couldn't find the initiation he was looking for with the fast Orchids, but then he also quickly forced out away. But this is going to be a free tower here for Alliance, and they can't really, as long as Loda is on point with the blink forward to Ravage when the Batrider comes to lasso, because he doesn't have a BKB, and hell, why would he? It's only 20 minutes or 22 minutes.
Right.
If Loda's on point, there's just no way that Team Tinker could take these fights, honestly.
Speaking of, Loda, hang on, down at bottom, Pycat almost brought down. The relocate, a little late in the coming. If they'd have gotten the mini stun off, maybe could have stunned him out of the TP, but either
Wisp is in trouble. Wisp is in trouble now. Oh, he takes Chessie with him as they man fight this.
Oh, wow, there's going to be Eclipse. There's also Chessie caught, but he has to eat all of the Eclipse, trying to channel the Fiend's Grip. There's a lasso onto Quakeva, or from Quakeva onto Chessie. But Misery walks away with a double kill as the reaction was gigantic coming out of both sides, and now there's 3 down with Ravage unspent. So 14-5. And Alliance may have just spelled the beginning of the end for Tinker. This troll has died 5 times, has only been a part of 1 death, 1 kill. He's 0-5-1 right now. He is woefully underfarmed, and even the Razor, who seemed to start out strong, sitting at 4 kills, also has 4 deaths and has been a part of no assists as well. Well, I mean, I guess those numbers aren't going to be too high whenever there's only 5 in an entire game on your side.
Yeah, this is a nice draft from Alliance. They have a good balance of magic damage to physical damage with Luna. So I would say, obviously, that they have more magic damage, so they really, really need BK. Like, Team Tinker cannot fight without BKBs. The only way they can fight is the small pickoffs with the bat, but they haven't really been doing that. They haven't been really looking for pickoffs with smoke or support sitting around where bat might want to gank. And like you mentioned, I don't like Troll, man. I think this hero is garbage. I mean, obviously, yeah, I don't know. Obviously, every hero can find its place in a game and do well. Like, if you do find this hero to snowball, it can look like Troll has the ability of being one of those heroes that can look like he's freaking OP. Like, if you start getting some crazy bashes, you stun lock somebody, he's like, wow, broken hero is so good. But I mean, that's a lot of ifs. And I would just...
that's a Ravage. 2 gone in the blink of an eye. And Troll just has to back out and run. Yeah, I was going to say, if they happen to spot these 3 down here, it's going to be bad news for Team Tinker. And so it was. And, yeah, I think this one is probably close to reaching its conclusion. 14,000 gold lead now for Alliance, coming up on 7,500 experience. And I'll tell you, coming into this, the last couple of times these 2 teams have met, Tinker's gotten the best of Alliance. And this is a return to form for them. Pycat now coming in, going to try to do what he can, but he gets Orchided. Mystic Flare misses and whiffs, but he just is not tanky enough. He's got a BKB, but he's saving it, I guess, for a rainy day. And Chessie caught with the fissure. Misery might end up dead here, and finally will. So a successful base defense, as sloppy as it seemed on both sides. Nonetheless, the game goes on. I just, at 25 minutes in, the reason it feels so over is just because what are they going to do? Catch Troll up? Like, is that the plan? You're going to catch him up and he's going to carry you at 50 minutes against the Luna, who is already a big item and a half. Hell, 2 big items ahead of you now with 4,200 gold.
Yeah, I don't know. They did get a decent bounty by killing the Sky RS. Troll's a little bit closer to his BKB, if that's what he is going for. I can't imagine it's the Sage and Yasha, but BKB is up on the Razor. It's a 10-second BKB charge, so that's good for them. The Troll, he's close to his. And I should recount what I say. Like, it's not like the hero is complete, utter garbage. It's just that I feel like you have to draft him around heroes that synergize with his ulti, and they have nothing like that on Team Tinker. There's no hero like, sweet, the Razor can attack really fast. Nice, my Earthshaker can attack, like, my Bane can attack fast. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. So he's trying to TP away. Is there a stun? There is a mini stun from Chessie.
There you go.
And Troll will go down.
See, you just gotta come correct like Fear, dude. Fear doesn't couch his words. Fear goes, yeah, Viper's a trash can hero. I don't care how many times people pick it. That's what you gotta do. Gotta come correct.
Okay, I just need to flat out say I think Troll's a
trash can or clown shoes, one of the 2. Trash can or clown shoes, take your pick.
Yeah, there you go.
They're gonna rush high ground. There's gonna be a fissure that catches Chessie. And we actually see an Ato shoes. Now Chessie gonna be caught with the lasso. Here comes Loda though. Echo Slam doesn't do much. Chessie has his Aegis popped off, and they're actually playing this very patiently. Now they have to come out. The BKB is gonna be off of Razor soon. Chessie back up in Fiend's grip, so he'll die near the tier 4s. They do manage to get 1 Rax in the meantime, but they clean up the IO as well. I don't even know what you would call that. They got an Aegis, they killed the Luna, they killed the IO, but you can't call it a successful base defense whenever you're down a Rax in a tier 3. They're not done, though. Chasing Misery, throws out the concussive shot, and misses with just the last little bit of the Mystic Flare. Otherwise, he would have tallied a kill for his trouble. Instead, an Urn Charge keeps that Earthshaker up and running, and he'll blink away and head back to base. But 17-9, again, even though that's probably one of the better showings we've seen out of Tinker in the last 15 minutes, still, they're in desperation mode, only looking to take their 2nd tower of the game now.
As they just smoke right there, looking actually for a kill onto Furion if they can get him in time. They do have vision of him with this war that's about to expire. He does blink upwards. Can they still get him is the question. Firefly is being deployed. He's going to TP out just in time. Ooh. So nice Spidey senses. And yeah, Misery, he almost got that counter kill on Earthshaker. Gave it the old college try, but wasn't able to get the last tick. So it was close. But Yeah, the point still stands that Alliance are in a very good lead. They did get a range Rex, not the melee, but it's still something. And a little overstepping their boundaries is there is no BKB up on the chest. He's going all aggressive. I do think he should have gone for a BKB, but this is... I mean, it's okay to go for builds like this when you're up this far.
Yeah.
So it's not that... Actually, they're not even that... Well, they're actually up a lot in net worth, but not that so much in experience. But you get my point.
Yeah. Well, again, I think the issue is the lineup that Tinker drafted is a lineup that should not be down in either category at this phase of the game. You know, you're up against the Luna, who takes time to come online. You're up against the Nature's Prophet, who, yes, he will farm like all hell, but he should not be this farmed at 29. And speaking of that, net worth tops on the board, Luna and the Nature's Prophet. NP up at the top. 17-9, and, you know, it's not even... I don't feel like Tinker's played all that bad in this game. I really just feel like the draft has handicapped him tremendously.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I mean, there were some kind of questionable plays, like diving tier 2s at 5 minutes by solo heroes against a Furion. Against a Furion, man. You can't do that. So yeah, that was kind of weird, and I'm sure there's some other things I can't think of. Oh my god, there's a refresher. Sub 30 minutes from the tide. So Loda has found a 29-minute refresher. Pretty damn good timing, all things considered. And if they weren't ready to fight, well, they definitely are now. As there's a butterfly actually completed ready for Chessie, so humongous tier 4
How
items
are they going to kill
up.
him? I don't think they can. Like
With the wisp behind him, I don't think they can either.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to have to do it, but like cancel the blink of tide in the background at the same time. So that's a tall order, though.
Yeah, we'll find out. Looks like they're ready to smoke. They've got 3 hanging around. Courier's got a couple of smokes. And there you go. Ready to roll out, and this is the kind of smoke with a big item like a refresher where this could all of a sudden become a 5-man wipe and no buybacks. Finally, Skyrath's got one and Prophet has one, but no buybacks on a single one on the side of Tinker. So this could be crippling. They're going to move up now, looking to catch someone in the jungle. And there's a ward that goes down. They're going to have vision. Everyone is hemmed inside the base under the tier 3s for Team Tinker, though. If they stay patient and wait this out, they should make it away, at least for the moment. And yeah, I think that may have been spotted by that ward. I'm not sure. The Luna became visible. I'm pretty sure pretty close to it. But yeah, they're just going to go ahead and push down this top tier 2. I don't think Tinker can stop them.
I don't think they want to. They're so close to 2 more BKBs. Like, Troll is about 25 gold away from his. Batrider is like 200 gold away from his. These are big, big items against this Alliance team that you really desperately need. In fact, there's the BKB completed, actually. He must have sold something, because he was about 200 gold away. And then they have it completed for Troll as well.
Oh, he dodged the fissure, and there's the Orchid. They're going to get some damage on him, but static link, or excuse me, unstable current slows down the Furion as he tried to pursue out. Speaking of pursue out, Quakeva looking for a target. He actually had his blink put on cooldown for a moment, but now going to go ahead and pursue. Right on top of Misery, and there's Loda right behind him, dragging him back to the team. This could be a big fight. They're waiting on the Loda ulti. Here he comes, walks in. There's one Ravage, 2 BKBs. He hangs on to the second one. Chessie now going toe-to-toe, man fighting this. There's the mech. Loda waiting around the outside. The BKBs will be dropping in just a second. There, he's going to use it that time. He got Bane as well as the Troll. Bane drops behind it, though he did Nightmare Luna, and they clean up Troll as well. Here goes Quakeva, and Lucent Beam. Didn't have it, didn't need it. In any case, Pycat still trying to be a nuisance near the back of the fight, but he's once again caught with a Sprout, and he'll drop. And this is probably getting towards GG territory. They've already got 1 Rax missing mid. They have no buybacks that I can see. Yeah, they don't have a single buyback.
Yeah, I mean, they just bought all their big items. They just bought 2 BKBs. I mean, Batrider's still alive, but can't really do much by himself. Echo Slam is on cooldown. He's going to try to do some chip damage away with just the Fissure. But yeah, the first Ravage that came out actually didn't really do anything. It caught, I think, 1 support hero, and then 2 heroes were BKB'd.
Yep.
I don't think he expected the double BKB to come out, but then he patiently waited for the second one and was able to get a lot more of effective ulti. There comes the ult. Ooh. Mystic Flare from Misery gets a very nice pickup onto Donkan, however you say that. And yeah, this is looking pretty. This is pretty close to over, actually.
Yeah, I would think so. Racks are down. They're not going to be able to defend at least this tier 3. They may end up losing Racks if they want to sell out. Looks like they're going to pull back for the moment. Quakeva showing his face. Needs a concussive shot in the mouth. Bulba is smoked. looking to maybe get a free one. Just hoping to catch a straggler somewhere. And nope, still under smoke, but we'll go ahead and pull back. So I don't know what they can do, man. Again, you take a look at this troll. Troll's net worth is, yeah, it's about what I expected. Somewhere near the supports. He's a little less than Tidehunter and a little bit more than the Skywrath Mage. So he's basically a glorified support that was giving a farming role for the first 10 minutes of laning phase.
Yeah, I just don't think his abilities do anything. I think unless you're running at teams with a huge push lineup or synergizing with that ultimate, this hero just doesn't do anything. And especially when you put him on fire, like honestly, it would have been better suited just like supporting and letting the Earthshaker farm. I'm not even kidding. It probably would have done way better for their team.
Well, they're trying to hold on and trying to keep this game alive as long as they can. They are only down one set of racks, but they're down a whole lot of golden experience now, too. One more lost fight probably will be the last hope they have. As you said, they bought all their big items all at once, and since then, buybacks not really an option for them. And, yeah, they're going to have to pull all the way back to the Tier 3. So, just a reminder, this is Game 1 of a best-of-5 between these two teams, Alliance and Team Tinker. Winner goes to Grand Finals, loser goes home. And the winner will meet the winner of Cloud9 versus Evil Geniuses coming up in our second best-of-3 of the tournament. 35 minutes in, man. I don't know what else there is to say. Tinker is up against it.
Yep, with an MKB freshly purchased up onto the Furion too. He still has 2,300 on top of that. God, he is so farmed. Admiral Bulldog has had a fantastic game so far. They also have the dominated Wolf Creep, the Alpha Wolf from Chessie. So they're all hitting like crazy. Furion's hitting for, God, what is that, about 350 damage, close to?
Give or take.
Yeah, and then there's the Aegis there for Chessie. I mean, this is very, very cookie-cutter standard play now, as they're probably just going to go march on up top. Take that. Furion's counter-pushing bottom, or split-pushing bottom, I should say. And they do have an Ags up onto the Razor, which is all nice and good. But the thing is there's some Treants on the side of Alliance, and if they're the lowest ones, which they probably will be in that little area that they're fighting in the next fight, that Scepter is going to be kind of absorbed by them for at least, 5 or 6 seconds, or however long it takes to kill them. So yeah, Razor's actually not the best hero against heroes that can summon things, now that I think about it.
Yeah. Well, let's see if this is going to be defensible. No Tier 3 here. And top lane, here comes Furion back up to a little more punch to the push. And yeah, they're split up. Quakefa actually has his travels on cooldown. There's a fissure to try and buy time. We see Chessie was actually trapped inside, but they didn't feel comfortable engaging with the Refresher Ravage waiting behind them. And just now is Quakefa getting back, so he was out by himself for a long time, and they never had a chance. Now he's going to go ahead and lasso Chessie.
He has Aegis.
Bring it down? Yeah, he's going to... It actually gets relocated out, so he's perfectly safe, and we've yet to see a Ravage. BKBs are going to be expiring. Oh, very nice. And he cancels the Ravage there. Let's see if he wants to spend it before he dies. Yeah, he will go ahead and use it. Pycat should clean him up before the second one, but Chessie now going to work with that Eclipse as Pycat's BKB does drop, and they track him down with a one last right click. We can see Quakefa managing to stay alive for a moment. There's an Echo Slam. They do get the Aegis, but GG will be called as one from Tinker ends up leaving. And game 1 goes the way of Alliance. Really a dominant performance from beginning to end, my friend.
It was. I mean, it was a nice draft from Alliance. I really think, like I said it maybe 1,000 times, but I'll say it one more, I guess, is that aggressive tri-lanes with any kind of global potential from the other solo cores is very, very effective because, I mean, almost I would say, 80% of the time you're running safe lane tri-lanes. So when you do that, you're going to fight them, and all 3 heroes on both sides are going to be low experience, low farm. And when you get those cores that have those global abilities quickly, you can easily take on engagements that are numbers in your favor. So I think it was a nice draft by Alliance.
Completely agree with you. And, well, we'll see if Tinker is going to be able to get things back on track. Looking ahead to game number 2. I'm AC, and that's Trout. Once again, this is our leadoff best of 5 for our Game 24 NVIDIA Invitational. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to all of the matches, but I want to see how Tinker bounces back. Again, whenever you saw these two teams square off previously, they seem to have Alliance's number, but Alliance is really looking like a return to old form. Just one game up in a best of 5, not the end of the world, but certainly something that Tinker will not want to see go much further. Again, stick with us. We'll be right back. Game 2 of Tinker versus Alliance here on the Game 24 NVIDIA Invitational.